We're talking about schizophrenia and drugs, Stan.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Actually, I started with the new research on, well, ongoing research on GLP-1 drugs, and they're tweaking them in mice, and those are the ones that do weight loss. And what they think is that GPL-1 may be sort of a magic bullet, a designer bullet that they can go in and do other things, fix other things in your brain. That's where they're going with it.
How's my audio?
Sounds terrible to me, but
My audio is not. Can you hear me?
well, you don't sound as good as Warren, but yeah, I can hear you. And maybe, I'm not crazy about this blue parrot. Everything just kind of sounds tinny this morning, but on my parrot, well, switching over to my Sony, that's a problem. Let me put you on my sound bar. You gotta.
Am I sharing?
Yeah.
Okay. I just
that's what it was. Yeah, the magnets, yeah. And that was a big deal with Saudi Arabia recently, right? Because apparently they have a pretty good stash of, and I guess there's rare earth and there's heavy rare earths.
Yeah.
As opposed to light ones, I guess.
We'll talk about those.
Yep. No doubt we will. A little bit. Yep. Yeah, but
I'm bringing the biologist perspective to magnets.
The biologist.
Which is to say, I don't. I'm learning a lot about this, and that was why I kind of did this topic. I wanted to learn about the new types of potential new types of magnets. I think it's kind of a pipe dream actually, but we'll see in a couple of years whether, because this company in Minnesota just broke ground on a factory to try to produce these iron nitride batteries.
Iron nitride, right? Not nitride. Yeah.
Nitride.
Yeah. Well, the physics of magnetism has been discussed a lot, especially regarding the idea of, magnetism always has been bipolar, it's been north and south. And it's hard to imagine the idea of having just a magnetic substance that's only north or south. It's got to be, if you break one, and they always break into two, both north and south. And that's a very interesting phenomenon about magnets.
Yeah, so you have a pole magnet like this, permanent magnet, and you snap it in half, and there's a new south and a new north, because it's just the alignment of the iron molecules.
Yeah, but you can. We'll talk about it. The Halbach magnets. You've heard of that?
Halbach, yeah.
No, that's a technology that's being used right now.
Yeah.
To enhance the use any magnet. To enhance it.
The biology in magnets is not an unreal thing. There is no doubt that animals.
How the birds get around.
And we're animals. And I remember back in the 70s and 60s, there was a thing where you put magnet therapy, where you put magnets all over your body and it fixed this, that, and the other thing. And
why not?
Why not?
Warren, do you have any videos you want to share?
No, I'll be doing them.
Okay.
I pay for YouTube so I can do this.
There you go.
So I don't have all the ads and crap.
I'm coming real close to doing that. And see if I can get it.
I do presentations every week.
Yeah.
And I play videos.
Yeah.
And
I was just trying to get a recipe for a couple recipes for Thanksgiving, and I wanted, and there are nice YouTube videos of of the show that was actually originally on TV, but is also a YouTube show. And so I want to like more information, save it, whatever. Well, the only way is to create a Google account. Period.
That's what I use. I use Google Chrome. Say, Stan, it would pay to share this with you. Share this file with you. How do I? Let's see. Can I add your email?
Yes. You ready?
I'm ready. Go ahead.
Stan, Stan, B as in Bravo.
Okay.
3D as in Delta, number 3D, because I do some 3D animation. So it's stanb3d@gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Okay.
Or on my computer, I just type in STA and it pops
Okay,
up.
I've got you there. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay, and so you should be getting a notification then, just in case my computer craps out or something.
You're getting a weird light from the left. It looks like something from the Sistine Chapel or something. There you go.
Yeah, it's a window that doesn't quite, the shade doesn't quite show.
Light, yeah, actual real light. Yeah, fancy that. You know.
Well, I'm looking at the top of my emails, and I've got Eric Hand, Trump's baffling surrender plan for Ukraine. And so you just sent me something? I haven't gotten it.
Yes, well, you get a note, as I understand it, you get a notification from Google.
And you go find it on the cloud. Right? Yep.
Oh,
and it has a link in it.
Which is the way to do it.
And if that doesn't work, I'll send it another way.
Well, generally what I get from some people is they just give me the links as an email.
Right. Okay.
But Google wants to do it the Google way. They want to have it on their cloud and send you a link.
Okay. So I will send it to you.
I'm a new guy, but Roger Humphrey is a new guy to me. Morning, Roger. Are you an
Good
old
morning. This is my first meeting, so.
And you're wearing a tie? No, you're not wearing a tie.
No.
And you have a pet ferret or something.
We have a small Chihuahua, a teacup Chihuahua.
How cute.
Okay, Stan, I sent that to you in an email.
I got it, Warren. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, there's probably an option for copy the link or send the link to the cloud, right? I think.
You can invite someone to look at it.
Right.
And that's through their Google.
Right.
But I sent you a little link. So either way, you should be able to see it.
Yeah, you can do it without it. You can just do it with Google accounts, right? If you know something about that person.
Well, you see, let's see. I always like to hear about SpaceX. They had kind of they were just pressure testing their new rocket, and I blew it up. Good thing they pressure tested.
On the ground.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was just gas pressure, and it failed.
Roger, whereabouts do you live?
We're in Matamidi.
Oh, okay. I like your backdrop. Looks really nice.
Yeah,
Refresh me.
it's an old one of these sun. They don't make them anymore, so we have a couple glasses that should be replaced. But so I don't know what to do about this room, but it is one of our favorites.
But real glass, not plexiglass.
Is it one of the curved glasses?
Yeah, it's got, it's just It looks really big. But it's not. It's just 6 by 12 or something, kind of bump out of the house.
You guys keep a lot of plants out there?
We do. Yeah, my wife is very much a gardener, so and we're both recently retired, so we've got more time for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So Roger, can you say the name of your town again?
Matamidi, it's on the east side of White Bear Lake.
Ah, okay. I grew up in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's a weird. I was from Forest Lake. We played Matamidi. I had no idea where it was.
Yeah. We played a lot of people at Minnetonka High. I don't remember Matamidi. Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the other side of the planet from you guys.
Mhm.
We're in the Northeast.
Well, he's really he's in California.
Oh, okay.
The very corner, 4 miles from the ocean, 11 miles from Mexico. So that's where
But you're in San Diego.
I am in San Diego.
Yeah, my son lives in Spring Valley, so.
Oh, I have friends in Spring Valley. Yep, that's San Diego.
I'm on the other side of the planet too. I'm in Apple Valley.
There you go.
I've done a fair amount of stuff up there in that area. We did work with Century College.
Oh yeah.
We were doing solar training there for years.
Yeah, we're probably a mile from Century.
Man, this is another part of the planet. I thought I knew Minnesota pretty well. And yeah, there's a whole lot of old towns never heard of.
That is a beautiful area. I know that.
Yep. Well, have you heard of Sartell, Minnesota?
Oh, yeah.
Spell it? Sartell?
Sartell.
Sartell.
Yeah, there's a new magnet company that's I'll have a little bit about today.
I'm glad you're doing that, Warren, because when I mentioned that the other day, that they're just north of St. Cloud, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a nice write-up in their local paper. You probably saw that. And how when the what was it? The sawmill burnt down or something or whatever it was, and lost all the jobs. And this new factory's gonna make up a big part of that. Sounds like.
Well, yeah, but I think I have a sense that it's kind of iffy. I wish them the best. I mean, I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's much to it yet. So, I mean, it comes out of the University of Minnesota. They're not gonna support something that is a pie in the sky. I don't think.
Yeah, they made a big deal out of it. We had a meeting of different organizations and companies, and at the university, and about a 300-person event, and they announced it there that was going on. So that was kind of exciting to think about that.
Well, you'll be able to add some color to my to what I say about it.
I'm not I don't think they have anything to show yet. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because they would have shown it if they had something.
My biggest impression is the New Flyer bus company up there in St. Cloud. That, to me, up until a couple of years ago, I had never heard of that. And I mean, man, they are a major player out there, and they're doing all these electric buses now, and Metro Transit's got some of them, but it just I had never heard about that in St. Cloud. It's a major employer.
Selling the buses that, for example, are in Rochester. They're driving around in Rochester for Mayo Clinic.
I'm not sure on that. I know they're in Minneapolis and there's some in Duluth and
Is
all,
it is
all
it
over
a
the.
is it a driverless
No, no, no,
box?
no,
Okay.
no. It's a regular transit bus.
Okay.
Yeah, I was pushing them when I was up there. I've been up there about 3 times and pushing them to consider doing school buses, electric. And they said, nope, they got their niche and they're going to stay in it. So, but the factory is really interesting to go through. They're building the buses, frames and everything. And then, there sets diesel engines, propane engines, electric motors, they decide which one goes and where. But they've been putting out quite a few electrics. So
Doug,
So you mean full electric or like a hybrid?
no, full electric.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. Metro Transit's got them running. In fact, we had a solar event here in the city, a conference, and I was able to get them to give us one of those buses. It was the big extended one that, moves, articulates in the center. And then we took the people that were at the conference and we took them around to different bars or breweries that were making beer with the use of honey from the pollinator gardens underneath the solar panels. And we did it with their electric bus. And everybody there was about 300 people in town for that, and everybody got a big kick out of that. That we're really doing the renewable thing, sustainable. And the guy driving that articulated bus, he took it into places I would have never tried to take it into, But he was really good at getting it around. So
Doug, question about the iron air battery system. Have you had a feedback on whether that was successfully launched with the power companies here in Twin Cities or Minnesota?
Well, the Great River Energy was the first ones working on it, and I have not heard anything. I should check on that. And then there was a huge, huge bunch of them putting XL was going to put in, and it was part of I think $7 billion grant or something that they had. But then our good friends in Washington pulled that all back, and so I'm not sure what XL is going to do now. They're going to replace them with other batteries or, but yeah, it's just, I've not been able to keep up on what they're doing, but that's, to me, just sounds so exciting. And I hear more and more companies looking at them, for storage, and the fact that storage is, one of the things in the beautiful bill that didn't get killed. In fact, XL on their distribution system just put in, I don't know, it was like 700-800 batteries. And, they're using, their own batteries to store their energy during off-peak times, and then they can use it to reduce their production. And so it's a major, major thing for the future here is batteries. And they finally, gotten down in price a little bit. So that's encouraging people.
I have a question. I have been for 20 minutes. What is so these are full-size buses. Obviously, you're talking about a bendable buddy, as my girlfriend called them.
Okay.
Yeah. What range? That's always the question when you're talking EVs. What kind of range do they have?
I think these
driving around the bee farms,
Yeah, I think these are close to 100 miles. And so in Minneapolis, they go from downtown Minneapolis transit station out to Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park, someplace up there. And then it's kind of interesting. They have an overhead charger that while there's, sitting there waiting for people to load, they add some additional charge to the thing. And wow. So far it's been working pretty well. And to me, I'm just excited to see something like that coming from Minnesota, Yeah,
I want inductive plates in certain lanes on the road when you're stuck at a light.
Yeah.
You're getting a couple of miles into my EV. That would be great.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah, free.
Or however.
I have a random regarding the, I saw a documentary on Wolfsburg, which is where Volkswagen builds its cars. And it's so automated with robots and so forth that they're concerned about being able to keep an eye on wear and tear of robots that are in the process of producing cars on the line, because if one of them goes down, then it's a big stoppage and so forth. So they have a system that uses audio. They set these microphones up, a special kind of microphone up that has a readout. They monitor the sound of these machines when they're running right, and then they have that microphone. And when the audio profile starts to morph or change anything, then they can go in and look. Before it actually breaks, they can go in and try to fix that system before it becomes a real problem.
That's not new technology, Sam. We did it in the post office all the time. Predictive maintenance. And I went to school on that, and and we did thermal and sonic. And yeah, you can a very important system. You can record it over time, get the profile, and then predict that thing. I said that thing's going to fail. When? I don't know, in an hour or 2 weeks, but it's going to fail. And when they didn't listen to me, it eventually always failed.
It's kind of like a guitar going out of tune.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Or a piano.
They've been doing some of that predictive maintenance too with big fleets of vehicles.
Sure.
And it's really, I mean, Caterpillar has a major thing where they do oil sampling and all kinds of stuff to make sure they know when it's going to, it can tell about how much of the metal is in the oil and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The problem is when you have a machine that runs 24/7 virtually and is important to the process, you don't like to take it down for preventative maintenance. But if you don't do that, then you get breakdown maintenance, which is always worse. Always.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of predictive maintenance, one of the exciting things I've heard lately is that, like at Excel plant up at Becker, they got 1.5 million solar panels, and they've got drones that automatically launch themselves every day, and they fly along and check all of the panels that they can get to in one day, and then come back, land, download their information, and recharge for the next day. And it's all automated, and they're looking for hot spots in the panels. Pretty interesting that it's automated to that point.
Yep.
One of the exciting things I wanted to share with you guys that I read this week is in Finland, they have had some success with wireless electrical transmission. And, to me, that's been like a dream to see that happen, because it opens up. And one thing they talked about that I had never thought about is the goal is to have it like Wi-Fi or anything else, so that virtually you could be driving your car down the road, and with wireless electrical transmission, you could charge the car and do all of these remote things that and it's not going to happen next year, but at least they're having success in Finland of testing it. So that was encouraging to hear.
Are they going to name it Tesla?
Yeah,
No.
Oh, by the way, here's a Jeopardy question that I hope you'll all get. Final Jeopardy, and none of the millennials got it. So the final question, it was scientists, and it said this scientist, in recalling in 1939 that his interest in the field was sparked, pun intended, by petting his cat as a child. Who was that very famous scientist that was interested in the sparks of cat fur.
Well,
We've already said it 3 times. Tesla,
Yeah, Tesla, yeah.
Tesla coil, et cetera, et cetera. Yep.
yeah, that was his big dream.
The problem with the Weidencliff, I think it was called Weidencliff. What was a Tesla when he was trying to do power transmission back in the day?
Mhm.
I think that J.P. Morgan cut him off because if he was successful, they weren't going to be able to put a toll booth up so they could measure how much to pay, how much you have to pay for what you're getting. But what I'm trying to find out from you, Doug, is this a directional kind of, or omni? Is it omni? Is it like a broadcast where it creates a spherical dispersion of electricity, or do they have a way of pointing the directional to a specific target?
It looked like it was multi-directional, but there was, it wasn't an awful lot of information on it. Just talked about it and the possibility for the future. And I'm not, I don't have the details on it, but it was just interesting it just seems like that's something that, could really, I mean, if, especially when you compare it to, Wi-Fi and different things like that, they're just omnidirectional out there for everybody. But it's probably like you were saying, it'll be, have to figure out some way that they can charge people for it.
Where I've heard it is in your, in other words, we're in the wireless. Really? So how come I have so many power cubes and everything else like that? Yeah, I got more wires than I ever had. And yeah, where maybe within a room, they can power or recharge your devices, your repeater, your wireless repeater, et cetera. Your laptop maybe. But what about the medical ramifications of having all this EMF floating around?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one way you can deal with it is to have the device record how much power it's taking.
Right.
And who it's taking it from. And
Right.
then every month, instead of stopping at the gas station, you stop at the electric station, and actually you could broadcast this to somebody. Today I used 17 watts from this company and 57 watts from that company.
It would be recorded automatically, and you'd be billed.
Yeah.
Yep. Otherwise, you wouldn't get the power.
Aren't computers wonderful?
I always think about that when I pull in my garage and plug in my car. It's just like, man, I love this. Instead of going to the gas station, I can just charge my, get my power back.
Yeah, I like that too.
I love it.
Yeah, I've spent, typically I do a 2080 charge, and it takes whatever. It's always quicker than they say. But I said, well, hell, I've spent an hour and a half at a gas station back in the oil crisis. So,
Yeah.
4 hours charging when I'm not going to drive.
Did you ever have to push your car?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Not
Yes.
to mention the electrons don't stink like gasoline does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always enjoy the odor of gasoline.
Don't get me going on that. Yeah. You don't want to know my background. Yes, I've siphoned and I have been siphoned.
Oh, no, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I don't like the feeling of it in my throat particularly, but
Oh, geez. Never did that.
You're not doing it right.
exactly.
When I used to be in the military in Germany doing RTEMS exercises during the winter, I was driving the old M113 style armored personnel carrier, the aluminum box, and I would get out, stand up on my track, and stick my face right in the exhaust just to get warmed up.
Yes. Oh, yeah. On a cold morning in Vietnam, we get behind the tanks and Amtrak's for many reasons, one of which was they would usually set off an anti-personnel mine, and or they'd arm it for us, you know. And I've seen that happen where they didn't quite set off an anti-tank mine, and then some poor guy stepped on it, and that was that. But no, it was the heat coming off those. Yeah, you can imagine in Korea how much they enjoyed that. The heat coming off that diesel exhaust. Great.
Almost a side issue, and then I'm going to begin my presentation. The Japanese learned how to make bread from their tank with their tank batteries. They'd have a couple of steel plates, and they'd make the dough, put it in a box with these steel plates, and that's how they invented the breadcrumb called panko. Panko or panko, and it has a specific structure, real tough right. structure, and when they break it up, it makes it great.
Sideline on exhaust heating, you know about the manifold cooking that people do when they're driving across country. They make all kinds of stews and pot roasts.
Yeah.
When in the old days, when you could find the exhaust manifold.
Yeah, humans are ingenious, but they're not very smart.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, send me that poster. I'll buy it. Yeah,
That's a T-shirt.
Oh, can I say something before I get the main thing going? I'm just watching
sure.
interesting events going on here in Iran as far as their near-term future because of a really serious long-term drought plus gross mismanagement of their water resources by the Islamic dictatorship for over decades and gross corruption and basically selling off their critical water supply to enrich some of the supporters. They're in a severe crisis now and actually talking about evacuating Tehran, a city of 10 million, because already there have been demonstrations and their response is, besides not doing anything about it, is to fire on the crowds. So they're just saying they're thirsty.
And they are brilliant people. They can predict this. If they don't get rain by like December 10th or something, they're going to have to evacuate 90% of the city.
Yeah, there's 10 million people. I don't know what they're going to do with them in a desert.
They don't know what they're going to do with them.
I don't think they have water cannons there.
And also, they don't have any real plans as far as I know. And this has led to overthrow of regimes in situations like this before. And so this could solve out of the blue, some benefit to, everybody in the long run.
It doesn't solve the problem, though.
Well, no, it doesn't solve the water problem, but if they could get a lot of aid from Israel in the West, as the Shah did before Peanut Brain let him get overthrown Carter. I mean, but they could, if they were overthrown and got some kind of a more sane regime, and they could immediately get massive help from the West and Israel. There was a world expert on water.
And survival, they may need it, and they may turn direction.
This bears watching.
Yep. Oh, it's fascinating.
Okay, I'd like to begin today. Sure. I'll begin my sharing. Share. And let me know if you don't hear sound when I play a video. My screen sharing is paused. Why is that? Resume. Okay. I'm sharing, I guess. Are you seeing the title?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Full screen if you can.
I will. Got to get stuff out of the way. Why do they do that to me? There we go. There it is.
Awesome.
Okay, this was an interesting topic for me. Because I know nothing about magnets, and I wanted to. And with the changes coming in with the political things with China and hope about new magnets called iron nitrides, I thought this would be a fun topic for me to investigate. And I bet you some of you will be much more familiar with magnets. I'm starting at the very at the very basics. You know, one of my favorite guys was Aristotle, and don't read it yet, because my favorite explanation of gravity, another force, not magnetism, but gravity, was, he said, as an explanation for gravity, things fall to the earth because they have a tendency to do so. I thought that was brilliant. And that's much more satisfying than, you know, disruption in the space-time continuum, which I can't wrap my head around, but I can wrap my head around Aristotle's explanation. Anyway, here's his explanation for magnetism. Also kind of simplistic, and it's a little bit more complicated. Magnetism is a force transmitted through a chain reaction where a magnet emits a form or virtue that pushes air, which in turn pushes the air to the next iron objects, continuing the chain until the force dissipates. Now, I don't know if that's satisfying to you, but that's much more satisfying than this stuff. You know, the quantum solution. Magnetism is a quantum phenomenon, resolves the issue. Not for me, but quantized orbits, the internal atomic current exists, but they're quantized and pre-exist the external magnetic field because electrons can only take orbits that are quantized. I understand a little bit of that. Electron spin, the most common way materials are magnetic is due to the electron's intrinsic, purely quantum mechanical magnetic dipole known as spin. This magnetic moment is an intrinsic property and does not arise from the particle's physical motion. Anyway, there's a force. And, okay, we're going to talk about the most recent generations of magnets are the neodymium magnets. Here's the rare earth magnets. Neodynium and samarium are the most common elements used to make these fancy permanent magnets. There are some other elements that are used, like terbidium here and dysprosium. And a couple others that I've seen mentioned, but these are all used in these fancy magnets. And but one of the hints here, these last two are added to neodymium magnets to increase their heat resistance. And heat resistance is an important aspect of manufacture of permanent manufacture and use of permanent magnets, because heat is an enemy. Why are they called rare earth magnets? Rare because they were when they were identified, the minerals were in small concentrations. They were considered rare. This is still true in the sense that large concentrated deposits are hard to find. The earth part, earthy materials, you burn something and it goes to an oxide, and it doesn't, you burn it more and it doesn't go anywhere else. It's a stable form, the earth form. That's just terminology that's sort of hung on. The modern reality, many rare earth elements are not geologically rare at all. Some are even more common than copper or lead. It's just that they're distributed finely. Economic rarity. The real reason they're considered rare in the economic sense is their low concentration, the difficulty of separating from them from other minerals, making extraction difficult, and extremely dirty. This is, for us, for America, that's the problem. We've got too many environmentalists who would be very upset if we made them here. Over the years, there's been the development of magnets. Started out in the 1920s, where they call KS steel. That's the name of the person who kind of invented it. It was named after, or actually funded the the generation of this material. An alloy, cobalt, tungsten, chromium, and carbon. And that made a fairly decent magnet, a reliable magnet. over the years, other elements have been added: aluminum, nickel, platinum, cobalt. Here's that samarium that comes up. Ferrite is pretty common and has been used in different ways. And then here we see the fancy ones. The neodymium batteries and samarium have been more used, have been developed. And what we're graphing here is the strength of these magnets. These magnets are really good magnets. Permanent magnet market, and this was, I copied this slide from someplace. They made a mistake here. It's been 1994 to 2094. Back in 1994, neodymium magnets were just starting, and the preponderance of magnets were ferrites, compressed iron powders, basically. And then more recently, we're talking the neodymium iron batteries, and all these contain iron, but neodymium is an element that was added to the iron. Some magnet types here, if you compare them and look at the Tesla, the strength of the magnets, up to 1.4 Tesla, samarium up to 1.1, ferrite and ceramic up fairly decent, about 1 Tesla. Some of the others less, and flexible iron, flexible rubber. These are like what you see on refrigerator magnets, very low magnetic field. And so there are a bunch of uses, but the strong ones are the neodymium and samarium magnets. They talk about soft magnet materials versus hard magnet materials, and this is a hysteresis, and we'll talk about this, show this a little bit later. The narrower the hysteresis is when you magnetize something and then demagnetize something. The narrower that is, the less of a permanent magnet it is. If you have large magnets or strong magnetic forces, and you put a magnet in it, and it has this kind of hysteresis. This is a hard ferromagnetic material, and it's a strong magnet, and it's considered a permanent magnet. Okay, so hard magnets are difficult to magnetize, but retain their magnetism. That's a hard magnets. They have high coercivity, and they're hard to magnetize and demagnetize. Soft magnets are easily magnetized and demagnetized. So that's this hysteresis here. A word about these two terms: coercivity, measure of the ability of the magnet to withstand external magnetic field without becoming demagnetized. So the bigger the coercivity magnet number, the stronger the magnet, the more permanent the magnet. And then magnetic remnants are the amount of leftover magnetism after the strong external magnet is removed. And so these have different uses. These types of magnets have different uses. Okay, maximum energy. This is something that's often compared. This is a measure of the permanent magnet's maximum magnet energy. Actually, they draw a square in here to try to estimate this parabola, but that's beside the point. It's a measure of the magnet. And so here's a closer look at that curve. They're talking maximum energy product and then field strength in a magnetic field. Okay. So this is
It's one of the most powerful
this is the first little video I'm showing, and it's about neodymium magnets and what they are. It's about 7.5 minutes from, let's see, this point. All right, and here.
Wind turbines, and electronic devices. To obtain neodymium, tons of rock are extracted from open pit mines.
Some of those pictures really didn't match what they were saying, but that's okay. That's got the basics from that. Any questions? Throw it open to questions. Anyone wants to?
Chris is first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Has OSHA seen this video?
Say that again.
Has OSHA seen this video?
Oh, I've got a document that says OSHA saw that video.
It looks like a terrible job.
Yeah,
These
yeah, and
people
that's why I said it didn't match what they were saying in a lot of cases.
Are you done, Chris? My question.
Let me say one more thing while I'm here. There aren't that many people going. I think that Aristotle's explanation of gravity is as good as Newton's.
No.
Newton postulated a action at a distance, which is no different than a tendency to fall to the earth. Now, also, I will add that Richard Feynman gave a lecture, and he said back in the old days, they used to say the reason that planets orbited the earth is because angels pushed them. Then he said, this isn't very far from the truth. The only problem is that the direction of the force that the angels pushed them was wrong. The actual force is towards the earth and not along the orbit. So I contend that that ultimately gravity is a mystery, explain it as we will, and that Aristotle is as correct as Newton.
I have to agree with you.
Okay, I have a couple things. A few slides ago, you showed a slide with field strengths of various materials, and I don't know if you could go back to that.
Yeah, sure. Let me do that. Sure.
But they seem pretty high. I know the maximum field strength of soft iron, just iron, is 20 kilogauss, which is 2 Tesla. So if you now, go back farther. A little farther, I guess. I don't know.
Why can't I move it? Okay, I'm not sure why I can't move it.
I think you're going forward, not back.
Oh, I tried.
It's one of the most powerful magnets in the world. Its magnetic force.
Okay, so I have to escape out of this, and then so probably this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the one before.
Well, this described it.
There was something that was a chart.
Okay, this chart, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe that one. We're trying to see the field strengths on there. I don't know what the BH is.
That's I do know that is. Let's see, as described here. BH. Oh no, that's not the maximum energy. Sorry. Okay, so BH, maximum energy product. Okay, so they're multiplying flux density and magnetic field strength to get BH.
Yeah, the maximum field strength of soft iron is 20 kilogauss, as I was saying, which is 2 Tesla. Tesla's 10,000 kilogauss,
Okay.
10,000 gauss. And when I was at Fermilab, you know, they're accelerating charged particles up to near the speed of light and making them go around in a ring. So you need very strong magnets to do that. And it was very important that you not be wearing anything metallic if you go near any of those magnets or have any metal in your body.
Right.
So
How about
that's a very strong field. And some of these, apparently, it looks like some of these alloys can get somewhat above that. So like 3 Tesla is very, very strong field.
I don't think any of these are that high. Here's this description, the typical mass magnetic field. Of course, this is typical. Maybe this is an average.
Okay.
I'm not sure. It's a good
Okay.
question.
Yeah,
Good
maybe
point.
that's what I was looking at. I wasn't sure. Okay. So that's not really by themselves any stronger than an iron magnet.
Yeah, that's what they were saying here. And I think that's why I say it might be, it's typical magnetic field might be kind of like an average.
So yeah, so the maximum where iron gets saturated, as I said, is about 2 Tesla.
I see. Well, that's when you magnetize them, right? It's not the magnet itself. Isn't that the process of magnetizing them? You put them in a big magnet like a NMR machine, and you magnetize it like an NMR. I think I saw something like there between
Once
3 and 4.
Once you align the electrons in the material, they stay that way,
right?
At least for a long time.
A permanent magnet.
And at some point, it can't get any stronger. The material is saturated. They say. So
that makes sense.
Yeah. So those aren't more than 2 Tesla. I thought I saw some more than that. That's why at Fermilab and many other places they have to use superconductors. And I don't know if you're going to get into those at all.
No, I'm not. But you're talking about what this is talking about is permanent magnets once they're made, not how they make them. I mean,
right.
It includes that, but they top out at a certain point, and maybe that can be improved.
Okay.
But go ahead, Dean.
And it's neodymium with an M.
Neodymium, yeah. Thank you. Go ahead, Dean.
A quick comment. Yeah, what I heard was that the charging field was like 2.5, 3 Teslas in order to charge it. And then this is probably for Tom, or magnetism ain't my strong suit. Aren't all magnets iron magnets? I mean, in other words, all of those contain some iron. Correct?
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. They're majority iron.
Right.
Like 70-30, 70% iron, something like that. Yep. Okay, I'll move on. Where am I? I guess I'm this. This is mine. Okay. Where is it? Why is it paused? Sorry. Okay. Let's do it. Okay, that didn't work. There's something goofy going on. Okay.
In filmmaking, they use what they call B-roll, which doesn't really match the material or that's being discussed, but it gives you something to look at.
Okay, so I've got some error here. Can you see this? Are you seeing my slides here?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so let's go down here. Okay, and this slide I have because it's showing the maximum energy product that we just talked about at 25 degrees C, and then maximum operating temperatures for these different kinds of magnets. And the earlier magnets, operating temperatures could get really hot. But the neodymium are susceptible to high temperatures. They fail. They begin to fail at high temperatures. This is in the future. Hopefully, there'll be a higher energy product, but still, they anticipate that they might not be as temperature resilient as some of these other magnets. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I was a little surprised that neodymium were not, more heat tolerant, and that seems to be one of the limiting factors for these things. And here's some thermal aging. And if you look at these temperatures, they're in Kelvin. So the top one will be about 75 degrees. The bottom one is about 170 degrees Celsius. So, and operating magnets in motors like Tesla uses, they get into these ranges that are potentially damaging. I think this next slide shows the maximum temperature of a Model Y, Tesla Model Y, is about 200 degrees Celsius. But that means that this is 177. So they could be starting to degrade at their maximum design temperature of 200. Hard use, they're anticipating about 150 degrees Celsius, and normal use around about 57 degrees. So 57 degrees would be in this range, but normal use might be in this range. And so it could be damaging over time. So they might not, if you're running hot, that might be a problem. And so Tesla spends a lot of time dissipating that heat produced by the magnets in the motors that they have. Anyway, I thought that was an interesting part of it. It's another reason to find alternatives to neodymium. Okay, so let's move on here. These neodymium batteries are used in everything. Here's an MRI machine and various other everything we use every day. And so that's kind of the applications of these things. But one of the interesting things that I came across was the use of the Halbach array. And it turns out that Tesla uses this phenomena. Many of you may be familiar with it. I was not. I always wondered why refrigerator magnets only work in one direction. Only one side is magnetic, and that's because they are Halbach arrays. And so I've got something about that very thing.
Hi there, I've got an array of fridge magnets here, and here I've got a magnetic flux display film. So if you have a look at this fridge magnet here first, then on the front of it, you can't see anything that way, okay, the front way, but there's a Halbach array on the back. And if I put that through, look, you could see it nice and clearly, look. Try and get rid of those stray reflections.
Run across this guy, Sandy Munro, and he tears machines, cars apart, and he's torn Teslas apart to try to see how they're built and see what happens. And he noticed, and he's going to mention it here, that the Tesla motors were smaller, cost less, but produced more power than other competing electric motors in automobiles. So he wondered why, and so he's discussing this in this out of here. He's discussing this in this video.
Let's see if I can find it. But anyway, you can see the comparison.
He's a real klutz, it turns out, but it's not. That's not what I'm trying to show here. I'm trying to show back at 12. I got about 5 minutes of his video, and he's showing the Tesla magnet. this kind of battery. I mean, this kind of magnet in their car, and I've got a. I'm still sharing, right? Okay. And so, what he was looking at. Take a look at this. This is a Tesla motor, and it looks like it's very used. Here are these magnets that he was showing, these Halbach magnets, and notice that they somewhat degraded. Now, this is a problem with neodymium. They degrade, and they're covered with chrome, I think, to protect the inside of this, or they start to degrade. They react with air and moisture. So anyway, this is what he pulled out of the Tesla motor, and you notice the array that it is in, and these are all those Halbach arrays. And so it was kind of interesting for him to discover that. This is dated about 5 years ago. They've been using these magnets in this way for quite a while, and it allowed them to make lighter weight, better motors. And this is sort of another way to look at it, how they put these magnets in there in the rotor, inside the rotor, or the rotor part of a motor. Usually, you look at rotors, the magnets are on the outside. But these, they incorporate them inside. So I don't know if that's specific to Tesla or not, but anyway, it's a very interesting way that they develop these things. Now we're going to take a trip to outer space. This is the asteroid Ryugu. The Japanese landed a craft on this thing to sample this asteroid. How about that? And they got some information. They found magnetite grains. These are little magnets, natural magnets, iron and iron nitride in the surface. And I came across this. I said, "Well, this is iron nitride, the same thing that we're going to be talking about." So I thought I'd put it out there. And here's some electron micrograph. And with electron micrograph, you can look at specific elements in a cross section of a tiny piece of sand, and that's what this is. It's a magnetite, and they noticed that the iron at the surface, it was higher iron content, less oxygen. There's oxygen on the inside, but the outer surface has real iron layer on the outside of this thing. And then also they noticed there's higher nitrogen concentration in the surface of this magnetite. So that's what they think, that the outside of this is an iron nitride, and that's what people are trying to make magnets out of. And so this is kind of a natural example of an iron nitride, and it may give a clue as to how to make iron nitride magnets. Well, we'll take a look, but it's kind of an interesting thing. So this is Ryugu sand. Here's their observation, which I just showed you. There's what they think is iron nitride on the magnetite particles. They think, here's the theory of how this may have developed. Maybe it was formed by the impact of a small ammonia-rich icy meteorite. They don't know this, but this is a nice story. And then they say the solar wind exposure over eons causes the oxygen to be removed from the surface of the magnetite, creating a reactive metallic iron. If you take the oxygen away, it has a thirst for oxygen or something. It's reactive. And then maybe this ammonia-rich icy meteorite hits the hits this piece of junk out in space, and it delivers ammonia, and iron nitride is thereby formed. But an interesting idea. Maybe that's true. It's a theory, and it sounds like interesting. And it might be able to give a clue on how to make iron nitrides. Well, we don't know that, but here's a little quick video to talk about this. And the company is Niron in this case. Not hard magnets yet. So they hope to produce hard magnets, but the soft magnets that are not strong magnets like neodymium, but softer magnets that can be magnetized and demagnetized more easily. But they hope to produce the stronger magnets eventually. They've got a couple of patents, iron nitride nanoparticles, and let's see, another one, a plurality of aligned iron nitride nanoparticles. They've done some work to do this, and this is a company that's investing in a factory in Sartell, Minnesota. And one last thing before I open it up, spark plasma sintering is what one of the processes that they anticipate using. Basically, you have this die that you push from both sides, and you have your product inside there, and you pass electricity through it, heat this thing up, and then make a device that can be magnetized. And that's the idea. And they're using iron nitrides in here to do this. So I'm going to open it up to questions if you have any comments. Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, going back to the Tesla, the magnets in the Tesla engines, that was a little reminiscent of quadrupole magnets that I'm familiar with.
Quadrupole, okay.
Most magnets, are dipole. They have a north and a south.
Okay.
At Fermilab, they also use quadrupole magnets, which kind of looks like that, like
Okay.
4 magnets at 90 degrees. Actually, I have an old.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
That's kind of the symbol of Fermilab, is a quadrupole magnet.
Oh, okay.
And what it is, what they're used for is to focus the particle beams. So you have a couple of those in series along the beam line, and the first one will focus the beam in one direction, and the next one, turn 90 degrees, will focus it in that direction. So the beam passing through stays collimated. So it's not an entirely original idea with Tesla to combine magnets that way. But
oh yeah, I mean, it's Halbach. When did he? I think that was in the 70s or something that he came up with that for the Halbach effect that Tesla's using, and probably other people are using, and certainly for refrigerator magnet. But yeah, that's really cool. Can you? Boy, that'd be fun to hear you talk about that process.
Maybe
Yeah.
some other presentation.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Dean. Yeah, you got your
well,
muted.
I think
I don't see any other hand. Oh yeah. Okay, host. Yes, our host has it.
Yeah.
I'll change my name. That idea of changing the focus of a magnetic field reminds me of something that's being done in electron microscopes. Is that a similar phenomenon?
Probably. I'm not familiar with the electron microscopes, but that must be how they focus.
Doesn't sound wrong. Did you have anything? Okay, Dean, then go ahead. You're on mute, please. You're on mute. Mute. Unmute.
I'm unmuted. Yeah, it was Fermi and accelerators and all that came up as the impetus, I guess, for this. And the other thing is, so now my brother and I have been trying to figure out for decades how one-way refrigerator and car magnets, they used to put advertising on cars with them and whatnot.
Yeah.
How in the hell, how does that work? Yeah. And maybe we looked it up. I mean, there was no Google in those days, but yeah. How in the hell do they make a one-way magnet? Now I know.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and that was fun to finally see it. And then to see how that Sandy Munro character discovered that, and he pulled one out and he hit it with a hammer, and it found its natural condition, I guess you could say. All right, I got just
real quick. I googled real quick, and BMW does not. They use a two rotor system, but yeah, and maybe Tesla is the only one that's using those. I don't know.
Well, that's what he determined a few years back, that that's the reason that Tesla could have a lighter, smaller, but more powerful motor.
He put 4 of them in there without adding too much weight. Yeah, up to 4.
Yeah, same amount of magnet, but in different format. Yeah.
I remember
Patents can be useful.
I remember seeing that. I've been following Sandy Munro for some time, and I remember seeing that video some time ago about the segmented magnet structure.
Yeah, and I think it was like 5 years ago that was produced. Anyway, it was very interesting to run across it like that. Okay, I got just a few more things to show you. Okay, and I showed you this, the sintering method, possibly. Okay, so one guy got all excited about this, and he made a little video, his own experiment doing this. Kind of gives us an idea about what goes into this, at least in a basement laboratory setup. And he's really interested in the process, so it was kind of fun to see.
That's his home. He must be well funded.
Well,
Yeah.
I think he just you gotta love a guy who just plays in his garage or his basement. He plays around with stuff, and so he saw this potential, and he just tried to reproduce it. But as you see, it was not a very good magnet, but he understands that he didn't do a very good job. I have not seen a follow-up. I think this is a couple of years old. Anyway, so the big news in Minnesota, of course, was this company Niron. You'll see in the background there, and here it is on the news. Starting a new project. A company has gotten some funding to produce iron nitride batteries. They're expecting to begin production in 2027, up to 1,500 tons of magnets annually. They don't describe these magnets except to say soft and hard magnets, permanent and not permanent magnets, but a bunch of jobs. So people are pretty excited about that. I've got a couple of summary slides here. Takeaways and maybe the future. Fundamentals of magnetism. Magnetism is complex, stemming from intrinsic, purely quantum mechanical magnetic dipole of the electrons, known as spin, and quantized electron orbits. I think it just happens, but that's just me. The rare earth solution. Powerful magnets rely primarily on rare earth metals, specifically neodymium, iron boron, and samarium cobalt, with a couple other heavy metal rare earths, dysprosium and terbidium added to enhance heat resistance. Neodynium challenge, I guess, is that their thermal performance and aging of these things might limit their use. And so it'd be better not just, it would be better to replace these things eventually, perhaps, if we can find better magnetic materials. Of course, the international challenge is China has the market, and they recognize that the West, we're not going to mine and process because of cost and environmental concerns. So we're doing something else. I guess that's a onward and upward approach. The alternatives right now looks like iron nitride. It offers a promising path. Maybe there's something there. I haven't seen it yet. They really don't have any examples that wow anyone. But we'll see. Natural synthesis and manufacturing, perhaps understanding how iron nitrides might be performed in space might help our methods. Maybe innovative manufacturing techniques like spark plasma sintering can be used along with other things, new ideas to generate these next generation magnets. And one last slide, I have to show you this because I asked an AI to look at my slides and produce this final slide, and it shows the neodymium. And I think they misspelled it here. They an iron nitride, from one side to another, and then they misspelled the neodymium here as well. But that's what AI produced. Thank you very much. That's what I got for you, folks. Questions, comments? Let's go.
I think Dean wants to say something.
I'm
Sure,
trying
go ahead,
to,
Dean.
the future of AI, misspellings. Circle back to me. I'm on three chains of thought.
Okay. Go ahead, anyone.
Dan.
Well, the idea that they're going to be able to, in Sartell, bring back the same workers that were working in a paper mill to do this magnetic work, that's going to be something that's going to be interesting to figure out.
They didn't say that.
They didn't say that. They said the number.
Workers in.
The number, maybe. They're going to bring in people.
We will be bringing workers in.
Yeah.
And then the other side of the coin is that if you have a product, this is the thing about research in today's world, especially when the Chinese are concerned, if you have a successful product, they're going to be researching iron nitride as well as we are because they understand the circumstances involved there. There's probably some security, trade secrets and that kind of thing that have to be kind of held tightly to your chest.
Yeah. Yes, not everything's in the patents.
The word trade secret does not translate into Chinese.
That's right.
Tom.
Actually, it does translate. That's mine now.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say. Next.
Dean, did you remember what you wanted to say?
No, I'm still thinking on it.
Okay.
I didn't get good feeling from the Niron, the stuff I saw and read about them, because maybe the point just brought up is the explanation for it. They've got to keep it really tight. They'll be interesting to see, though.
Yeah, they were saying hard and soft magnets.
Yeah.
I mean, soft magnets, there's not that much they can do.
Well, that's iron. Basically, that's iron. And,
well, that's picking up stuff in a scrapyard, right? With an electromagnet, right? You got to.
That's what they're used for. Yeah.
Yep. That's what. Yeah, I remember. I could be wrong. but I don't know that China is rich in iron ore, or are they? I don't know.
Oh yeah, everywhere. That's
Everywhere.
kind of. I mean, I'm sure they got some. You know, one comment about Tesla. I've got the Tesla Y, and it has two kinds of motors. One is has all these magnets in it. It's a permanent magnet motor. The other is not. It's just a what's an induction motor? Is that what it's called, Tom?
Yep.
An induction motor. So they got two. One in the front, induction motor in the front, the neodymium enhanced motor in the back. So they're relying on both kinds, and their new Tesla version, I think, does not have the neodymium enhanced motor. I think it's just an induction motor. So that's my understanding, but I haven't seen much. We have to wait for Sandy Munro to tear one apart, I guess.
Hey, Dean.
Now, somebody has torn apart a BMW's latest motor, which I believe is the same one that's in my Mini. And let me see if I can share here. Up arrow, I'll share. There it is. Yeah, can you all see that?
Yep.
That, you know, what is ICE? Is that cool? I don't know what the ICE is. I know what the battery is.
Internal combustion engine.
Oh, that's their hybrid. Sorry, yeah. All right, yeah. But I believe that's very similar to the motor that's used in the Mini. But yeah, the thing about inner rotor, outer rotor. Oh, okay. So the inner rotor, weird, is driving the. Okay, yeah. So that's a hybrid ICE, internal combustion engine. Thank you, but yeah, and that's conventional stator rotors, et cetera, et cetera.
But it also shows that they're doing regenerative braking for the battery that's there.
Oh yeah, that's the whole trick with hybrids and electric. Yeah. Unshare. How do I unshare? Stop share. There you go.
It occurs to me that if a battery or if a motor is going to be susceptible to the weakness or the diminishment of the power of the magnet, it would be, and you have an electric car, and the car seems to be running well. I mean, the car's chassis and everything is working okay. You should be able to swap either, I don't think you could swap the magnets, but just swap the motors out at a reasonable cost to keep the car going.
Yeah, I think the motors he was talking about at that time, a few years back, less than $1,000 from each of the manufacturers. Yeah,
there's a lot of times when I've gone in with your car and you're spending $1,000 just to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, sure.
So
my key fob is going to cost me $850. Do the math.
Yeah. Yeah, Eric?
Without knowing anything about this technology, I intuit a great potential here for applying DeepMind's very impressive use of AI to design hundreds of thousands of new materials. I would guess they could apply this to finding new, better magnetic materials too.
Interesting. I mean, they're doing the same thing for medications, right?
Right. But it's also the manufacturing process,
Yeah, well, they can intuit that they could, model that and then try it out experimentally. The most promising looking ones.
From what I learned from Mini, it is that the motors are repairable. In other words, so in that Tesla one, all those degraded, whether they were chrome or nickel plated, you just swap out the rotor, kind of like doing a bearing job or something, or a camshaft on a car.
Yeah. It might be that simple. I don't know. I know if you bang up a Tesla, it's really expensive, but just doing a repair on a motor might not be that expensive.
Oh.
But they're going to get you one way or the other.
H. Tom.
Yeah. looking at these misspellings from the AIs, I wonder if it's intentional.
Trying to dumb us down?
No, I wonder if it's a way of tracking the AI's output. So someone could come along and say, this was written by Google AI 397, whereas this was written by IBM AI, blah, 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 in some future copyright nonsense. I shouldn't say nonsense. Copyright's important, but
not anymore.
I wonder if it's intentional.
Define intentional, human intentional or AI intentional? See, we don't know.
Well, there's people behind AI. I have a comment on that.
Or the other way around.
Let me do that because with ChatGPT, you can put your personality in it. You can put your resume in it. You can put your common spelling mistakes in it. So maybe this came from Google AI.
Can impersonate you.
Yeah, it personalized it. And I'm a notoriously bad speller. And so maybe it just has surmised that. So that's one way to look at it. I guess, Eric, you're next.
Oh, hey, two questions. You mentioned somewhere along the line about these magnets under adverse conditions just disintegrating explosively. Is there a danger in cars and other things here that have come to fore? Is that a serious concern?
No, I think that this character, when he took out one of those magnets, he hit it with a hammer and it exploded because it's one of these Halbach magnets that don't want to exist next to pieces of magnet that don't want to be next to each other. And
well, it's not something that would happen in a traffic accident or something.
I guess if it hits hard enough and breaks one of those magnets, I don't think that's where the big problem is.
Do you want to say your background?
Say again?
Oh, what is your background?
My background? I'm a biologist, kind of chemist. Chemist. So I'm an agricultural chemist.
I think that when they say explode, they don't mean flammable explosion. They mean that it just popped apart because of the magnetic.
Yeah.
Physical stress. Yeah, I guess that could happen and potentially in a traffic collision or something, or running into a wall or something.
Yeah, it's contained in the motor. It's contained. Except on the very end, it's contained in steel. So
the batteries fires are the
I think that's a bigger problem.
Main problem with the batteries is that they degrade over the time, especially if they're heated up.
Yeah, but if the motors degrade because the magnets no longer work, that would be a real drag. I mean, worst case, I'd if I still had batteries left, if the rear motor doesn't work anymore, because that's where the neodymium is, if the cooling system fails, and it's really complicated in a Tesla because they're cooling the batteries and the motors on a recirculating thing, and it's funny, you can hear this sucker going in the garage. You're not using it, you're plugged in, and
Teslas. I charge next to Teslas, and they're quite loud when they're plugged into the
they're going all the time. And so, but if that fails, not only do you have a garage full of green fluid, but you might not have a car. You might be able to drive it for a little bit, but the temperatures max out and it'll shut off on you. I got a feeling it's not going to let you go over certain temperatures.
And my understanding on BMW trained service guys is, well, the motor will outlast the batteries. So most likely.
As long as it's cooled properly, yes, that's probably true.
Is there any problem with the cold temperatures?
As far as the motors, I don't think so.
The battery, the magnets.
Batteries certainly.
Yeah, but the magnets are.
I don't think the magnets at low temperatures. No. I think they might even be better. I don't know. I really don't know. That's a good question. But the batteries, it's battery management. Like if you're, like I have my wife gets in her car every morning at 8:45. So I have it set so at 8:30 the climate is set, and that means that they warm the interior of the car, but also the battery, and it gets to temperature. And if you're on a trip, you say you're going to have you need a battery, your battery charged. It knows where you're going, or it has set. You can set it up to where it's going to go, and before you get there, it'll manage the temperature of the battery so it can take the charge most efficiently. There's a lot to it.
That's why EVs make so much sense in San Diego, because I don't have to worry about those extreme temperatures. Although I do love this morning when I went up to 7-Eleven to get a cup of coffee, by the time I had my seatbelt and my hat on and my sunglasses, the seat and the steering wheel were already warm and it was cranking hot air. That's all I know. And it did that by itself. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Dan, you had your hand up for a while.
Yep.
On the idea of using misspelled typos to track specific AIs, it reminds me of a trick that graphic artists could do. Is if they were trying to catch somebody using their graphic without paying for it, they would claim that they would say, go away, I'm not going to pay for it. You could say something like, well, why is my face on the reflection of that toaster in that image that you have?
Huh.
Oh.
Your face on a toaster doesn't mean anything because AI can do that.
No, this was in the day when you could when this is before AI.
Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about AI. Never mind.
Hey, do you have anything else, Warren?
And no, that's that. Yeah, well, actually, I do have one other thing I just came across. I will share it because it just came up. And here's a face on a toaster. And Bob Ross this is a joke, I think, but you could get your toast with his face on it as well as the toaster itself. Anyway, that was fun.
Branding.
Well, when I say a face, I've been talking about a reflection, like you were standing in the room, and you saw your face in the toaster, like a mirror.
I understand. But since you brought it up, I had to show you the face on the toaster.
And by the way, just like the Bob Ross painting method, only Bob Ross can do it. And I'm sure it's the same with the face. Although I know people have played with toasters, and they have. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That came from another
people
presentation.
Found the Virgin Mary on their bagels and all that good stuff.
I showed that toaster to you all in a while back. Anyway.
So, Warren, do you think
Yes,
there's a big future in the iron nitride batteries?
Boy, I think there's a lot of hope. And let's just hope that those guys have enough tricks up their sleeves to actually produce something. I have my doubts. I really do, because I didn't see anything fantastic. I mean, why not show a fantastic battery if they could actually produce one?
But they're supposed to be better than the iron neodymium ones, right?
That's what they're saying, but that's what I think it's more of a hope than a saying.
Well, I heard that what they're saying is don't rely on the rare earths from China.
Well, that's the driving force, but whether they've really got it yet, that's the real question.
And that's the plus and minuses of capitalism and everything else. I mean, you have to attract money, you have to get tax breaks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If it pans out, great. Not all do. Some do, some don't.
I guess one indicator, would I be willing to invest in that company? Not yet. Not yet.
There's the indicator right there.
Yeah.
It's also interesting that Sartell put an insurance policy in there for all of the benefits they're providing.
Yeah, they got to pay it back.
Yeah.
So it might not be that great of an idea.
If they're not bankrupt, I mean, they got to pay it back. But what if they're $100 billion in the hole? Yeah, we don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Eric.
Yeah, I wonder if what the prospects are for from these Japanese results of prospecting for and mining and even producing refining the rare earths in the asteroid belt, a la Blade Runner. If it's isn't it relatively the final products are very small masses of
Yeah, they're
material?
tiny grains.
So it wouldn't
grains.
be too costly to it'd be feasible to transport them back into Earth, the final product, and you could use solar energy to continuous uninterrupted pure solar energy there as to power the processes. And use Optimus robots, future Optimus to produce
Yeah, I
them.
guess.
Like
Yeah, if you're
Blade
talking
Runner.
about the future, maybe that is somewhere in the future.
Or the seabed. Likewise, same thing with the seabed using drone submarines or and robots to mine them in the seabed, which is still mostly unexplored. I understand.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff down there that's valuable.
Yeah, I think I saw something about finding nodules of things.
Oh yeah, nodules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
There
that have formed over millions of years.
Yeah.
There are startups doing that even as we speak.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all tough stuff. Next.
When you were speaking about Sartell and the insurance for the existence of this new plant, it sort of reminds me of, I used to work at Shutterfly, and they used to have, Shutterfly had agreements with the state and so forth about their existence and about their hiring and their finances and so forth. And I know that when they closed that plant down in 2023, the lease was up on that building because they didn't own it. And I think that they also were unable to fulfill some of those agreements, and so there was kind of a perfect storm of which caused them to close the plant down.
Yeah, it happens.
Speaking of submarines, I don't know if any of you noticed this or have seen this, but for the first time I saw a video that narcotics cartels in South America are using small submarine-like, not deep submarines, but submarine-like carbon fiber subs to transport cocaine into America and to Europe.
Yep.
It was a fascinating video, Stan.
Yep. They're harder to see, harder to detect.
Yeah, it's not like iron is rare on Earth, but there are some asteroids out there that people have been talking about mining because some of them are basically, it seems like the remnants of the core of larger bodies like a planet or planetoid, and it's an iron core, so they're almost all iron.
Oh, okay.
And some of those asteroids. So there is a resource out there.
Yeah, nickel too.
Yeah, and so there are a lot of minerals out there. China's big advantage, they don't have oil, but they have a lot of minerals, a lot of rare earth minerals and things like that. So,
well, they have some some AA1 deposit that they showed, which is higher concentrations. I'm not sure how much higher that is than what we have. And we have some deposits, but we can't legally do it. There are too many restrictions on doing it. And
well,
that's perhaps a good thing.
What they're doing in China was open pit mining,
right?
Which is pretty destructive.
Yeah,
because we've experienced that here too.
Oh yeah,
for iron.
Yeah, we've still, gold mines are still pumping out sulfuric acid in their water. It's just natural process. Once you open it up to oxygen, once you open up a mine, things happen. And we've got too many lawyers and too many environmentalists in order to allow that kind of thing here. So, got to find something else. So, iron nitrides might be the answer.
Dean.
Yeah, but that's like saving the environment by using these technologies, and in the meanwhile ruining the environment. You know, there's a trade-off. And when we talk about cost, I imagine a burned out paper mill in Sartell, Minnesota, costs less than a spacecraft to go up with a big magnet and drag a hunk of a planetoid back. But yeah, but that could be doable, right? Because they're iron. You could hang a magnet on them. I don't know. But it sounds very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Well, there are apparently some asteroids out there that are largely carbon in the form of diamond. So
yeah. Oh yeah. They'll put GE out of business.
And Russia.
Yeah. Well,
and
it's
and
about,
news from
you can say they can might be able to produce this and save the environment, but if you can't produce it, you're not saving anything.
in news from visitors from outer space, I saw a thing go by last night that Atlas 3I, which continues to get closer to the Earth now that it's gone around the sun and is coming back. It's never going to come anywhere close to us, don't worry. Has split or formed into become three pieces. And the piece I saw actually said, what if it hatched and the smaller centerpiece is the traveling visitor?
The mothership.
Yep.
The mothership.
Yeah. Oh my God, what next?
Hey, why not? It'll make a good story.
No, could be a story, yeah.
And you know, just like on our windows here, there might be little waving hands that say, "Hey, hi, we're
There's
coming."
a story.
we haven't gotten
There's a
very
story
far
about
past-
that.
We haven't got very far past primitive tribes that believe that they're omens of bad things to come.
No,
I,
we're still
don't
pretty
know why
primitive.
people like to.
Mankind is ingenious, but really stupid.
Well, they see something coming, and you say, "What is that?" You got enough people who are saying, "Well, it might be."
Inquisitive.
It might be this, and they might be able to show us how to make magnets out of whoopee cushions. Who knows?
Inquisitive. When I don't feed the cat doesn't ask me why. It just says, "Okay, never mind. You'll feed me later."
I say this other thing. Speaking of Feynman, it wasn't Feynman, Tesla. I used to spin my cat on a carpet. You take your finger in the armpit and you spin it around, and then you let it walk around. And
Oh yeah, yeah. My cat loves. I have a rollator that is pretty much retired, but the cat doesn't want to retire it, so I'll park it there. I use it to schlep food back from the kitchen or whatever, and the cat will just see me start to get up out of my futon, and she'll be on that, and she loves to go for a ride. I've taken her all the way out, across the lawn, into the garage. She loves to be carried around like a kitten, just thinks it's great.
Stan?
I wanted to, I saw a video and I'm going to post this, or I might do a talk on this. But in terms of the idea of mining versus extracting oil just to burn and put it up into the atmosphere, the annual amount of, for more sustainable energy, the amount of mining required is around 230 million tons per year.
It's that time again. Wayfair's Black Friday sale is back. Right now, get up to 80% off area rugs, up to 65% off kitchen and dining, and up to 60% off bedroom.
Carol, please, Stan.
Speaking of area rugs, yeah, speaking of spinning rugs.
Free shipping on everything, just in time for the holidays. These are Wayfair's lowest prices of the year.
Carol, we can hear you.
Wayfair's Black Friday sale now at wayfair.com.
Dan, mute her, please. You're the
Wayfair,
host.
every style, every home.
Okay.
Well, 230 million, keep that in mind. Now for coal, there's 8 billion tons per year of coal. And for oil, it's 5 billion tons per year for coal and 3 billion for natural gas. And so what I'm trying to point out here is that open mines may not be aesthetically fun. You might think, oh, there could have been a nice forest there with some trees and some beavers and some bears and some deer. I get that. It's kind of like the idea of losing birds or eagles with windmills. But when you're talking about the true environmental hazard, I think we have to constrain ourselves to thinking about what the atmosphere is receiving in terms of global warming. This is a fine area it's an ethical area to kind of research. But I see these arguments from the oil company as a argument against the renewables, and I just think that you're showing people a small mound and turning it into a mountain. It's a misdirection. It's like a magic trick of misdirection.
Everyone does it.
Yeah, but in terms of the reason why we don't do that here, I mean, we don't do that kind of mining, or we're not. It's illegal here, is because of the environmentalists who are the same environmentalists who are worried about carbon emission. They don't want us to mine. That's not what they're saying. They said they don't want us to mine. They don't want any CO2 produced, so it doesn't matter. I mean, they don't want rare earth mined here.
Well, the big problem up in the boundary waters area is not so much carbon, it's acidification.
Well,
sulfur,
sure.
sulfur and that kind of stuff. If you ever gone through Canada, north of Lake Superior and east of there, it's a wasteland because they had a nickel refining facility there that just wiped out everything for between 50 and 100 miles. It was that type of thing is important to consider.
Yeah. The best thing to mine in Minnesota, it sounds like, is helium. They're doing really well with that now in the north.
Helium?
Helium, yeah.
Helium is a resource that's not infinite. Once it gets out in the atmosphere, it goes to the top and escapes the earth and it's gone. So, and we mine it, and that comes from under the ground.
Yeah.
We store it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not an infinite resource.
We need to recycle party balloons.
Right.
Carol, you're muted right now. Is your arm broken or your hand? I mean, your hand broken, or do you have laryngitis? I'm surprised you haven't said something.
Well, I have been wrestling with my new microshaft operating system to try to get the video going. And I finally got the video going.
What, you have Windows 11 now or what?
Yes. It forced me to upgrade.
I haven't upgraded yet.
Me neither.
Me either.
Well, mine kept saying we're not going to support 10 anymore.
Well, that's
you
true.
better as hell upgrade or it'll quit working.
Basically,
so
it's
I
a security
upgraded.
thing.
Then you protect yourself.
I got away from Microsoft when an upgrade to 10 dimmed my screen to 10%, and there was no workaround. And so I got rid of my Microsoft based machine and went to Google.
711 for work groups was the last decent OS, I think.
I don't do micro.
Well, I don't know if this has significantly dimmed my screen, but
That was a weird thing that just
I can
happened
still
with
see me.
with the
I can
person
see
with
all
the
of you.
model I had.
Yep. No, I've had that where all of a sudden, what the heck? Didn't we changed all your settings? No, you didn't. You changed them all.
Well,
Harold, Harold, you do look
do
look a little faded compared to before.
well, I'll play around with that when I get the chance.
What they do is battery management to get a 17, 18-hour battery. So I'm usually plugged in or very near a plug on my laptop. So I have to kind of override that because it does different settings when you're plugged in and unplugged. I'm talking about a laptop. And yeah, but
But anyway, it turned out that all the things I did to get the camera working didn't do any good unless I rebooted the whole damn thing. So I finally did that, and now I have working video.
Well, now we can see you. Great.
Yeah.